How much time do you have to close on a commercial real estate transaction? How much time do you have to get your ducks in a row? Get all the paperwork, the inspections. That's what we're going to be talking about today. If this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Tim Diesel. I'm a commercial real estate consultant, and this channel is designed to give you tips and strategies you could use in your investing career. Even if you're a commercial real estate broker, you could use these strategies for your clients and help them excel. All right, so when does your timeline start? How does it play out? Not talking about your LOI, I'm talking about you're in your contract, you've struck a deal, and you're in day one. So what happens? If you've been paying attention to some of the stuff I've put out there on your LOI indicates your contract does not start until the seller gives you all the documentation you need. That means rent rolls, financials, all that good stuff. Now we're in our contract. So there's two things to look out for once you're in contract. All right, so you have your physical inspection, and then your other inspection is your financing. All right, so you generally have $30 to 60 days, 45 to 60 days to obtain financing. And I'm going to break that down for you. Depending on the size of the property, if it's a 10-unit building, if it's a 5,000 square foot retail space, you probably don't need more than 30 days. Now, if you have a larger property, there's a lot more that has to go up plate for you to do your investigations and really see what's happening. You're going to be asking more for 60 days. Now, when it comes to financing, generally you need 45 to 60 days. You have to be very careful with this. You always want to give yourself a little bit of rope, but you don't want the seller to think you are playing games and wasting time. So have your deposit and break your deposit into chunks. Do not give one deposit. You want to give a full step deposit slowly as we go through the timelines, right? So let's just say in this case, we're looking at $1 million property. All right, so you're looking at $1 million property and you're kind of interested. Somehow you got all the way through. You gave me your LOI, you're in the deal. Now, your deposit, let's suppose, is 10K. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna break things down to show the seller you're serious, but at the same time, you don't wanna tie up a whole lot of cash. Now, I wanna reverse that and play devil's advocate for you. If I'm listing the property and you're coming to me, I'm going to try to get more money out of you to show that you're serious. But the other way around, you always want to ask for less, not more. So it really depends on what side of the coin you are. And a lot of experienced brokers, they're not going to accept a $10,000 deposit initially, because I'll tell you why. Even you'll hear a lot of complaints from commercial brokers and they say, well, what difference does it make? The deposit is refundable. Yes, but I want you to think about something. If you have 10 grand tied up, that doesn't stop you from shopping other properties. If I can get you up to 50 or 100 grand, you're limited to how much shopping you can do. You're more into this deal. So that's why if you're the seller, you want to ask for a little more deposit. But when you're the buyer, less is more. So your first 10K is on the initial physical inspection. So let's suppose you have 30 days and everything goes well. You love it, checks out fine, and all the units look good, or the entire building, whatever the case is. Okay, so you tell the seller, you know what, I like that, and I'm gonna give you another 20,000. And that looks terrible. And your financing checks out everything goes fine. You know you have a term sheet, you know financing is going through. So you're going to give the seller another $20,000. Now what you did here is you broke it down. Initial contract, you got $10K. Physical inspection checks out, I'm going to give you another $20K. If I can't get financing, well, we need to do something about this, right? This is the time. It's a lot easier to do it this way as the buyer. The seller sometimes can be convinced this is a good thing, but you got to stay on them. So it depends on what side you're on. But if you're the buyer, you really need to be careful about all these. And you really cannot submit a financing package until you have all the information. A lender is not gonna, it's not like buying a single family home. They're not gonna give you a pre-approval. They wanna see the asset's performance. They wanna see what's happening with it. And then your case, your physical inspection, you wanna get into the unit, see how it's performing, what it's looking like. And that's another thing that you can do to ensure you're going through the deal and you like what's happening. I want to give you guys something else. Let's say your financing is lagging. They say, look, we can close, but we need a little more time. In your LOI, you should have already put in, you want a 30-day extension. So, but in order to get a 30-day extension, you have to put a little more money up. Now, you want this to be as little as possible, of course, but at the same time, you have to be reasonable. You're buying another 30 days from the seller, and you have to expect they're already a little bit agitated. They started counting the money, and they're thinking, what's happening? So I like to keep this number between 10 and 30,000. I'll always start at 10. They sometimes make you counter up. They make you go up to 25 grand, somewhere around that case. But let's suppose it's 25K for one extension. Now, by this point, you're showing the seller that you're serious because you have $75,000 in deposit in escrow, right? And this is a really good way to get you the time that you need to do all your due diligence and all your financing. Now, the way you want to write this up is you have 30 days to do your inspections. Now, depending on how you write up your contract and how you wrote up your LOI, I personally, for my clients, if it's a larger deal or if it's myself and I'm buying, I like to ask for another 30 days on financing. Sometimes you only get 15, but it really depends on how you're doing it. And then with another 30-day extension, you want to have ample time to do your deals. You can stretch these things out for 6 months, 4 or 5 or 6 months, but you don't want the seller to think you're just wasting time and jerking them around. You want the time that you need to get business done and do your deals. There's no reason to drag out someone's property for no reason, but financing has issues sometimes, right? Whatever else it is, sometimes you can't get into the units on a certain time with maybe the inspector or whatever the case is. And that's really what you want. Your biggest weapon right now before you close is time. You need time to check out the financials, time to check out the physical condition. You need time to get your financing in order. And that's really the biggest thing you have. So this is just another way you can extend out another 30 days. All right, so the question of today is, how much time do you put in your agreements for your inspections? Is it 30 days? Is it 60 days? I'm curious to know because I'm always looking for ways to improve whatever it is I'm doing. Hey, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment, give me a like if you enjoyed this material, and I'm going to give you guys new stuff, new strategies you can use weekly. Thank you.